All right. Am I live? Am I live? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Hakiami here, the Success Scholar. Hope you are doing wonderful. Hope you are having a beautiful day. Uh, yes, so you see the title. See the title. Man. So hope you all are doing well. Man, so a lot have been going on with this Haiti phenomenon, this Haiti issue, and I just got sort of inspired to share some things that I saw, and I just wanted to make you all aware. For instance, uh, as I saw something recent that I won't play, but the title of a video was "Black Men Are Being Whipped." In the 2020, and the point of this particular video was to basically castigate and to ridicule and to show that black men are still able to be whipped in this society and to degrade black men, um, and totally ridicule. Actually, it was a form of disrespect, and it wasn't saying Haitian men, it said black men. And so I personally took high offense. This was TonyaTKO, so she is like a feminist, has a very, I mean, she's not like a cultural sister in the context of articulating the wisdom and understanding, for instance, of a Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, who Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, in her analysis, she asked what of the therapy was to ask black men, why are you afraid of white men? So understandably, I had to dissect, for instance, the conversation about, the question was, why are black men, for instance, in this particular scenario or situation, being docile or not fighting the I guess the men on a horse with a superior weapon, and perhaps they, I'm sure, would have guns. So ultimately, individuals have to have some strategic tact in terms of how one approaches an aggressor. Now, this same scenarios can be understood in the context of various law enforcement, right? Because there are going to be different levels, for instance, of engagement or self-defense, or different legal, but not just legal, but just from one having a level of respect and manhood to say what they are going to tolerate from an aggressive force, right? So I just I went from the top down, right? I just had to go to the tip top. The reality is that there are many other nations on the planet, mostly Caucasian nations, ultimately, that have superior weapons. In the bigger picture of everything, many have larger weapons, right? And it goes downhill. And when you talk, I mentioned, for instance, ultimately, you have nations that on different levels have nuclear weapons that can destroy the earth and millions of people 10 times over. But other than that, bringing it down to a smaller micro level, you have situations where individuals are outmanned and outgunned. That's a reality of war. That's a reality of conflict. That's a reality of various types of engagement. Does it mean that men are biologically coward, or could they just been positioned due to poverty to not be able to afford weapons and the training for self-defenses? I don't know many Black men that have gone through training or thought they would be in a position or to engage a man on a horse, right? Or to snatch a whip out of a man on a horse. So I'm not sure, what, I mean, most of us, for instance, and this is even for Tariq and Jason Black, and I don't think that they were as kind of sinister in their discussion surrounding these Black men who they, some of them and some of the callers have deemed as being weak or cowardly, but I don't know many men that literally, if they have a bunch of other men in an open space, would consider engaging an adversary on a horse without weapons, without even nothing, without I mean, do you want to live? Self-preservation is, the foundation for all of our life and all of our existence, preserving our life. And so understandably, I'm sure that many Haitians sized up that scenario, and they realized that they're dealing with ultimately a more capable adversary, whether that was just the whip or whether that was a horse. And without the organized efforts or the organized training of a group to combat that, it's just, them who have a superior training over top of an untrained group of masses. And this is what you have when people, have riots and things like that. So ultimately, it's going to be up to the individual who is in a situation that he's never been in his life. So he's in a foreign country, and he's not coming as a military occupier or a tactician. He's not coming as a rebel fighter, trained in, combat. And they didn't predict that these forces, for instance, would come against them. So they had no levels of thinking that they could have reacted and could have, I don't know, threw a rock at the gentleman, the people on a horse, or they could have, I guess, tried to attack the horse. You see what I'm saying? So, but ultimately, it was in the open. It was a case that they were in the open. Okay, son is speaking at 4:00. Okay. They were in the open, so it was an intimidation factor, but we know for sure that there have been worse situations, to talk about. And for instance, we know that many Black men in the United States have been subjugated and emasculated and effeminized, right? So with that being said, I just want to put it out there because, several people, I mean, instead of, keeping quiet or sending some money, sending some weapons, or sending a military cadre to the border to defend the Haitians. Tariq Nasheed, Jason Beck, and this TonyaTKO have chosen to do YouTubes, right? Now, what I would propose, or what I would hope that Tariq and Jason and TonyaTKO would do, you can, of course, give some money to, for instance, the NFAC or the New Black Panther Party, and suggest that they go on the border, like how ISUPK, the Black Hebrew Israelites, have gone on the border. So let me just pull that up, and I think they are speaking French. So, but however anyone feels, and I'm not like always the biggest fan, but if you want to highlight some masculine men, Miss TonyaTKO, these brothers not gonna let nobody whip them. So if you want to see some men on the border feeding Haitians, I'd say how about start with that? So let me pull this up. Hold on, let me share my screen. It's in French, I believe, so you can't totally hear. Hold on. Let me share screen. If anybody speaks, let me see. Let me share this. Anybody see? Hold on, put this up. How am I doing this? Okay. Let me close this. Somebody. Got my share screen now. If y'all can still hear, let me know. What's going on, brother? Somebody spoke to me. Iwa, I'm buying too much. Thank you, brother. All right, let me stop sharing that. Because I can't understand them. But I'll put the video in. So it's ISUPK at the border of Mexico feeding Haitian. They call them Haitian people. So it's just interesting that we have different cadres of black people, for instance, in the United States that feel different ways about different groups. Um, and I'll just give you this example. For instance, Tariq Nasheed, he also has a issue with Malik Zulu Shabazz and Grandmaster Jay. Now, Tariq Nasheed that has a new song out, singing a song talking about your phone down, singing love music to black women, I guess, which is, I would say, a good thing. But when there's a time, for instance, for shall say masculine men to demonstrate some manhood or directed self-defense and violence to repel an oppressor or an aggressor, he has not necessarily enforced it or encouraged it or more so supported these particular movements. I mean, let me just be specific. He's referred to Malik Zulu Shabazz of the New Black Panther Party and NFAC Grandmaster Jay member as agents. Now, I can't speculate. I would not speculate on what individuals who may feel the need to have a level of self-defense. But what I do know, for instance, is that those Border Patrol agents, for instance, would have thought twice about that had Tariq Nasheed taken $1 million that perhaps he may have made from his film 1804 and financed or contributed it to, say, the New Black Panther Party that has members, or the NFAC that has a significant amount of members, or the ISUPK that are just down there right now feeding Haitians. So I'm just dissecting some things, and Jason Black, I don't know, he had some people on there and they were sounding like Fox News, and they were, like, go back. And my thing is, many individuals do not put themselves in any position to have influence over policy that affects the borders. Many of these members, they do not have conversations, or they're not paying attention to what anything that their representatives on a congressional level. Thank you, brother. They haven't reached out to the Congress people to see what their views and opinions may or may not be. But ultimately, this is a question of influence and power and policy. So that is more so, it's based upon the state of, Texas, as well as the president of the United States, Biden. So, I'm sure that the Congressional Black Caucus, who Tariq, referred to as the Congressional Caucus, but they, for instance, I know that many of them have, spoken out, against this. And my question is, why are you, or why are people speaking against Haitians, poor Haitians, that really do not have any education, training, skills, knowledge, wealth, to be able to, they're fleeing from some very challenging and desperate conditions. And so my idea is, why are we sort of what is the term? Committing lateral violence verbally against these poor, oppressed Black people. Um, you know, but I see, for instance, that the Black Hebrew Israelite group is there on the ground, feeding the Haitians there. Everybody else is agent. Yeah, yeah. He takes. Let me just post, brother. Let me post your comment, brother. Okay. Brother Metu Jalo is a good brother out of St. Louis. He says to keep people from calling and exposing him as an agent, everybody else is an agent. So to take eyes off, I believe it's off of him, he directs attention to others. Yes, so he's referred to Malik Zulu Shabazz and Grandmaster Jay. And it's just interesting that you pick people that that are more pro-militant, if you will, more of self-defense to challenge. You choose to challenge these men who, if for instance, TonyaTKO was sincere and a real woman, and she truly believed in a Black nation, or as she elaborated on a Black nation rising up. I guess I don't know, how there's a lot of diplomacy that happens with these issues such as this, and it's not just about some nation sending an army on the border of another army to say stop stop oppressing or stop beating our citizens. It's not going to work like that. I mean, honestly, what nation is going to bring an army on the border of Mexico to fight the United States? There isn't any nation alive at this time that's going to do that. So you're not just, I mean, you're talking about African nations not doing anything, or Haiti not doing anything. No one is going to bring a army on the border. So let's just be real. And I just hope that others can recognize, I have a little bit more professional background than some of these YouTubers that more so just are thinking and ranting, and they have followers that aren't very well thought out. They're not thinking tactfully about the Haitian people and how Haitian people on the border actually, the life that they live. I mean, these people are coming from some very, very destitute and traumatic experiences. I've heard some calls. I mean, people, they live in fear of being kidnapped and held for ransom. And so ultimately, I just had to put this out here. I didn't want to be long, of course, but I'm just appalled. It wasn't a good time. People need to learn how to stand by. If you're not going to demonstrate true Black manhood, just stand by. Don't be like Jason Back and be out of sight, out of mind. And if you're not financing any movements to go on the border, or if you're not financing any political power, if you're not encouraging your listening audience to call, write, show up in DC, to go talk to congressmen, people, to walk the halls of Congress, and to speak to Kamala Harris is she's supposed to be in charge of the border. So go see her, go see AOC that was on the border when the Hispanic children were in these little camps or whatever. So ask AOC. I know she went to the Met Gala So ask AOC and the squad. Let's go to the border, squad. I know you look cute at the gala, the Met Gala, but I know it's not in New York and it doesn't bother you, but you can find your way to the border for the Mexicans, or I'm sorry, whoever was. I'm sorry, they could have been Guatemalans. I'm not sure, or Honduras. It could have been the Honduras people coming up as well during that time. But you found your way there before. How about you going to the border now? So my question is, what is, you got some people, some brothers and sisters, ISUPK, down on the border, helping and feeding. Tariq Nasheed, Jason Black, TonyaTKO, how about sending some money, some food, take some of your YouTube money, take some money for a museum. This is real history. This is real history in action right now on the border. And many of them live close to the southern parts of the United States. So I'm just saying, of course, I know Haitians aren't, they ain't Black American, but hell, let me just define that. Because honestly, I'm in Baltimore. I'm in DC, in DC. I mean, I've been in all those areas. A lot of people from New York are different than people from New Orleans. A lot of people from LA, are different from people in Chicago. So, let's, people just trying to tap themselves in and suggest that America is some, big cultural melting pot, like every Black person is, an American somehow by culture or something. So that's just a little kind of branding, marketing, segmented thing that some individuals are doing just to kind of create a small tribe, of followers. And so my idea is, if you have some allies, some potential revolutionaries coming up from the border, from the southern border that can potentially, create a revolutionary spirit, why are you talking greasy about them? So, and I know, the sad thing is, these people calling these people names like coons. We don't need these coons here. Like, what kind of, like, they don't have time to even be thinking about, I'm going to be a coon. They trying to eat. They trying to survive. So they don't have time to think about whether they're a coon or not. And they don't have the education to know about what is a coon. They trying to eat and survive. They trying to get food for themselves, clothing, and clean water, right? So, to say that they have, they gonna come up here and be coons, that's kind of reaching. Yeah, Omar. Yeah, thank you. It's on specific on religion. In America, wait a minute, hold on, let me see what he said. We East African Muslim Americans will help Afghans. I ain't say nothing about no Afghans. But thank you. Yeah, so we used to have, thank you though, but appreciate you. But yeah, well, the Afghans, I ain't see nobody, like taking the Afghans back, or I ain't see nobody, sending them in boats and trying to send some planes to send them back. So that's some of the issues that I'm concerned about. And ultimately, let's stop referring to our, people who have the same skin as us and struggling, oppressed people throughout the world. And let's not get into our bourgeoisie, American Negro ism, because it kind of, you can turn into a Clarence Thomas, actually. Now, let me just, here's the thing. When you angry and upset with Malik Zulu Shabazz and Grandmaster Jay, but you know Black history a little bit, but you're still an entertainer, right? You sing love songs, but you're trying to infuse yourself into real revolutionary conversations, It don't like work like that. Like you can't, you know, people are full time in this. Like they do this like full time. They're not doing this for, you know, to dress up and to wear nice watches and drive Bentleys and live in $1 million homes, like $2 million homes. Like, you know, these people are putting their life on the line while you are, you know, just talking, right? While these people going on the borders, the ISUPK, they're putting their life on the line while you're just degrading these people. And I'm just like, you know, when does the talk stop? Who are you truly helping? Like, who do you really help? Like out here, I mean, I'm sure that there are a few black businesses that may benefit here in America, and but you know, ultimately, you're not even, you know, good at that with all the money that you have. I mean, how many Congress people have you called about this issue? Like, are they listening to you? So my question is, you know, where is these movements going if they cannot even uh, uh, impact the border? Okay, thank you. I love Tariq Nasheed. He never degrade us Tigray Ethiopians because we mix girls. Okay, Tigray. Yes, I'm sure that, you know, he probably said many good things about Africans when he was creating DVDs and things. But, you know, like I had to tell one sister, have you listened to him recently? I mean, I don't know, you know, like maybe I just don't understand like how you can spend that much time talking about foreign black people. Like, you know, they're only a small percentage of the United States population. I mean, they don't deserve that much attention where that's a whole, you know, video. That's a whole, you know, 2 hour discussion, you know, about keeping them out or, you know, just like, but you don't have a vote on any policy, right? You don't, I mean, no Congress people listen to you because they don't think you have the experience or the expertise worthy of respect. You don't show up enough. You don't build a bond or some type of rapport with these individuals to know what kind of bills can possibly get passed. So what legally and politically can actually get done, and you don't, or you haven't even gone to the UN. Speaking of Ethiopia, you know, go to Addis where they have the United Nations or you know, to the what is the International Court. I don't know if that's in The Hague or the Netherlands, but you know, like why haven't, you know, you done anything like that? Show us the United Nations. Show us the International Criminal Court. Go to, I mean, that was just something about Durban just on today. Dr. What's his name? Hold on. Hold on. I got a video. Dr. Wait a minute. Hold on. Dia. Hold on. Shoot. What's his name? I should pull this up. Dr. Diabo. But you know, there was just a conference about the Durban issue where at the World Conference Against Racism, I'm not sure how long ago that was, where the United States walked out of the World Conference Against Racism, where some years ago they had it was declared slavery was a crime against humanity. All other nations supported it, but Colin Powell, nah, okay. Um, where Colin Powell walked out of the conference, right? Have no legal representation. Okay, she said Tariq Nasheed has no legal representation. Well, I didn't want to make this totally about him, but this TonyaTKO is what really like first inspired me because she was, oh my God, she was just saying how black men like those people are biologically cowards or, you know, like they gonna try to fight a damn horse. Like, woman, be quiet. Like, you ain't fighting no horse. No men, you know, like that's untrained and not used to a scenario, they're not trying to fight no damn horse. Like, so ultimately, they're gonna have to think like, and possibly live to fight another day. But like, I mean, don't try to make it seem like they some punks for not fighting the damn, ammo or whatever. So that's what I'm saying. It's kind of, if you want anything, do a historical analysis of, how Europe developed Africa, and Europe developed how America underdeveloped Black America. Those are two books. But who's the author that used to write about the Caribbean? Not the one that wrote about Garvey, but it's a few books about the development of the Caribbean and how the United States and other Western powers actually. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's all I wanted to say, y'all. So that's all I have. Just wanted to drop that. So I am out. Peace and blessings, y'all. Hakiyami. Peace. Thank you, Fatima. Walter Rodney. Yeah. Oh, he's one. So yeah, sister. Thank you. I think I'm still on. Thank you. She mentioned Dr. Walter Rodney, but there's another one that talks about the Caribbean. There's another one that's that talks about the development of the Caribbean, and it's slipping my mind, but it's a white book. So that's all I have, y'all. I'm out. Peace and blessings. Hope you all check out the video. I mean, for those that speak French, I believe that they have somebody speaking French or maybe Spanish. I'm sure they were speaking to the Haitians there. So you all can check it out. And that's all I have. Just wanted to drop that. Peace.